Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I may get a little excited, a little passionate about what I'm going to talk about, but please stick with me. It's for your animal's best interests. So I think probably the best way to bring this about or to talk about this is in an example of something that happened to a friend of mine who lives a couple states away. She has a 15-year-old large breed dog named Bud, and she received a reminder card from her conventionally run veterinary clinic in her town. A little reminder card saying that Bud was due for his annual wellness exam plus a bunch of shots and some testing. So she doesn't question anything. She's gotten this card for 14 or 15 years now because Bud started at this clinic since he was a puppy. And she takes him in, and they do a distemper, parvovirus, parainfluenza, adenovirus, and 4-way lepto combination vaccine, as well as the 3-year rabies vaccine, his kennel cough shot, even though he doesn't go anywhere, and then he also gets a Lyme vaccine, even though he's not in Lyme territory. He also is supposed to get a heartworm test, even though he's been on heartworm preventative for at least the last 12 months. And then he's also supposed to have a fecal exam done. Well, my friend didn't bring in a fecal sample, so they extracted, I know it sounds gross, but they extracted some poop from his rear end and analyzed it, did the heartworm test, did all the shots, did a quick wellness exam, and then she mentioned to the doctor, she says, is there something that I can do for Bud because he's getting really arthritic and I have to help him get around. He's just not able to get around very well anymore at all. And I know I've seen pictures of this dog, and he had some really severe muscle atrophy in the rear end. And I'm surprised that her doctor didn't look at this or even address this during his quick exam. So the doctor says, well, sure, there's several things that we can do. We can put him on, for one thing, I think we need to get him on a prescription anti-inflammatory drug to help with the pain and inflammation. And then also we have this prescription grade supplement that I think he should be on, and he can be on that the rest of his life. There's no drugs in it, so it's perfectly safe. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's really good. I'm glad he mentioned that, because you don't just treat with drugs. You have to support the body from the inside out as well as outside in. So she wanted to know how much her bill was so far before she decided on which drugs or medications that she wanted to take home. Well, her bill, she brought $300, and her bill was just a little over $300. So like it's $308 and some odd cents. And so she used her debit card to pay for the rest of it, but she didn't have enough money in her account to take the anti-inflammatory drug and the joint supplement. So her dog went home. She went home empty-handed, and she had nothing, no resources to help him with his quality of life. Now, here's why I get excited, maybe even a little irate about this, is that, well, I'm trying to figure out how to say this without being too harsh, but I'm just going to say it. I would have handled it a totally different way. I would have said, Bud's 15 years old. We could run a titer test to see if he needs distemper, parvo, and adenovirus, and let's forget the lepto part of that. I would have also said, since he's not out and about and we're not in a Lyme area, let's not do the Lyme vaccine. Let's not do kennel cough because he's not being exposed to any other dogs. He's not going to the dog park, right? He's not going to boarding or grooming facilities. He doesn't need kennel cough. And then I would have said, here's where I think your money would be better well spent. We'll do the fecal sample to make sure he doesn't have any intestinal parasites. And we'll do the rabies shot because that's required by law, but I really want him to be on these joint supplements and the pain medication. And then she would have had the money to help her dog. It's just morally and ethically right to look at what that animal's comfort level is. Forget about the darn vaccines, forget about the darn heartworm tests on a 15-year-old dog. So So the reason I'm telling you this is I put quality of life and the animal's welfare ahead of monetary gain for the clinic. I've worked in many veterinary clinics. I've even had my own mobile vet clinic. I understand there's a lot of overhead. But at the same time, we took an oath to do no harm. And I believe that harm came to Bud because he was given unnecessary vaccines at his age, and he was not given the right care to make him comfortable. So why I'm saying this is, don't be that person that just takes your doctor's recommendations, whether it's for yourself or your animals, without questioning and without researching. There's a lot of money to be made on vaccines and heartworm and flea, tick, and other medications. Clinics don't get subsidized like many doctors' offices do. We don't get grants. When we have a veterinary clinic, no grants for that. So the clinic has to do things that maybe aren't necessary and maybe even a little harmful for the animals to make their ends meet. That's the truth. Now, I don't totally agree with that all, because I know that if your veterinarian would talk to you like I talk to my clients, we go over diet, we go over which vaccines are mandatory or should be or have to be given. We go over what chemicals are due to the dog or cat, whether it is household. I'm just counting on my fingers here, so if it looks like I'm looking at the ground, that's what I'm doing. Whether it is chemicals in the household, chemicals in the garden, chemicals on the lawn, chemicals that go on or into your pet for flea and tick control. Talk about all that, and then we talk about safe and effective methods that you can do in lieu of all the drugs and medications. So, gosh, guys, I'm just like, I don't know how to put this all into words, but always be discretionary and discerning. Question, do your own research. This person's a couple states away. My friend, if she had just called me or even questioned something that was on that card ahead of time and did her own research, it would have prevented this dog from not getting the care it needed. And I don't want that to happen to your animals either. So just my opinion, my rant for today, it's over with. I love you all. Thank you for everything you do for your animals, and stay tuned because there will be more to come. Love you. Bye.